Hello, my crafty friends. I'm here for another fun flip through video. This one is being made for a friend, or was made for a friend, Adrienne, who is my friend on Whatnot, and I get a lot of vintage stuff from her. And in one of my shows, she was like, I need you to make a journal for my cats. For me, that has to do with my cats. So here it is in all its glory. She had this gorgeous vintage Valentine, and it's layered doilies. So all this came to me in very fragile. So now it's been adhered with a gel matte medium so that it's so fragile. I wanted to make sure it didn't fall apart. The cover is made from 2 catalog envelopes and then covered in some collage fabric, some Tim Holtz fabrics that kind of really gave me that vintage vibe. We've got some lace on the spine. And then I tied it with this sari silk that I felt like matched the colors. And we've edged it with this black lace. We're going for crazy vintage cat lady. Adrienne, you are not a crazy vintage cat lady, but it's the vibe I was going for because it was fun and quirky and kitsch, which I know is your thing. So we open it up. I've got this gorgeous lace pocket. I found this gorgeous lace at a local nonprofit for quilters and fell in love with it. Thought it'd make the most gorgeous pockets in journals. And in here we have a cute little notebook, and it's just made with scrap papers that you could attach photos, make notes, make your grocery list. I'm obsessed with this postcard. This is a postcard from 1982, not super vintage, but I just thought it was hilarious, and I thought it really fit that kitsch, quirky vibe. And then we get into our fun printed pages here. And then we have a big pocket here. I used some vintage green stamps and doilies and found this really cute collection of cat ephemera that I thought was adorable. And so pictures could be put on the back of these, or it could be journaling space. But this is an old green stamp book and some of the green stamps. And in here, we've tucked an altered guest check and just a fun book page tag. Sticking with that vintage vibe. And this is an old embroidery envelope. And I think I got this from her. And I thought this matched really well. And so I sewed it into the signature, added some doily and some vintage stuff, and then stuffed a really pretty tag in here. Not everything in here is cat themed, but most of it. And then I have this cute bow coffee dyed paper, and I put some children's book page on some cardstock, made this corner tuck out of some book page, and then covered it in some McCall's pattern tissue. And I've been collecting these postcards knowing that I was going to do a cat journal. I just didn't know who it was going to be for. So Adrienne, thank you so much for asking me to do this because I got to play with all of the cool cat stuff I've been collecting. I left a lot of space again for pictures, whether that's on tags or on pages. Added tidbits of vintage lace throughout and a lot of different vintage lace edging. Some vintage music sheets, which I probably also got from her. Then we have this cute little card. I love these vintage school photos, but another place to add. And this is Katie Kitten. She's so cute. So cute. I thought those were a riot. Just a little tipped in page, distressed it a little bit so it wasn't so bright, but this is another great spot to add a photo, but it's kind of got some quirky cat lady images in here. And on this side, I made a fun cluster with some vintage lace and some coffee dyed Scrabble score pads, some Mamagami paper, and then we've got a hidden paper clip here that's got some tuck spots, some vintage doily, this fun cat ephemera underneath. And then on the back side, just more of the gorgeous imagery of this kit. This is an envelope that I just thought matched, and I sewed it in, added some fabric and cat ephemera. We've got some vintage ledger, which I almost always have in my journals, and I picked this one because the colors matched. And then in this little pocket here, we've got some of that vintage lace and more. Aren't they so cute? I love them so much. This is the rest of that vintage Valentine, and I pieced it together with some vintage greeting cards. You've got a fun belly band here, and this is what's left. I cut this from a vintage greeting card and attached it to some music paper. Lots of vintage kitsch in here, which I know that she's going to love. I hope she does anyway. And then this one is just a fun book page envelope that I made. And it's got, you got to look through every nook and cranny because you never know what I'm going to shove in all the nooks and crannies. Here. Look at these ladies and their cat. Some art prints that I found somewhere else that I just thought were fun and quirky. Some children's book page. Another little flip to add photos or writing. Pieces of a vintage greeting card. Quirky cat prints. Boris. I love that Boris is wearing pink pajamas and a flower headband. And just some fun vintage collage cards and cat paraphernalia back here. I had a blast finding and curating all of these quirky cat things. And then I put in this vintage greeting card include it to that envelope flap. We've got this fun layered pocket here with a couple of fun tags. Some fun fabric here. Come on, let go. There we go. Some runaway strings. This is actually the embroidery pattern from that envelope in the front of the journal, and so I used some of it to alter that guest check. Another fun cat postcard. I have no idea how old these are, but unused, ready to attach stamps and some notes to, or whatever you would like. C is for cat. Another fun tag here, this cute little girl and her kitten. This is made from book page and wallpaper samples. Some more vintage lace. Another hidden paper clip here, and we've got a couple things tucked under here. Another fun postcard and a cute little pocket tag. I love this cat. So cute. The cat's pajamas. The other side of that envelope with a cute little old vintage calendar. This cute little nugget on an old library index card. And this pocket. Funny. So funny. I couldn't resist. And then our back lace pocket with another tag, another little notepad, and a nice tall tag to include some photos or some writing. So this is Adrienne Vintage Cat Lady Journal. I hope she loves it. I've had a ton of fun making it. If you're interested in something like it, let me know. This one is sold and made for her. I don't have any more of these beautiful vintage doilies, but I definitely have enough ephemera to make at least 3 more cat journals if anyone's interested. So thanks for watching and hanging out with me. I really wanted to record this so I could show her what it looks like, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm about ready to switch into Halloween, spooky, creepy territory, I think is where we're headed next. So stay tuned.